Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the live show. I hope everybody had a great day. The Mag 7 was a little bit red, but things started to move. Tesla was up. Walmart changed their logo, and it looks the exact same, and it's down. It should be down after you change your logo. It looks exactly the same. Ridiculous. Anyway, that's Walmart for you. Energy sector wasn't looking too bad there, so let's go through and see what's going on and what's going to be popping for tomorrow. All information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice, so always do your due diligence. There is an NFL game on, and I'll keep you updated on that. It's at commercial, so let's get rolling and see what's happening here. We'll go through the list, see what jumps out, what wants to run, and we'll check it out. Let's see. Staff, STAF. This one started to look good in the after hours, caught my attention. It was pulling back there. This was on a laptop travel list not long ago, STAF, and it went cruising in the after hours, like I said, because FinViz has it. Well, they do show it in the after hours. It closed at 228. It doesn't show it on the chart, but it does say it went up to 323. It actually got up to 380 and it's at 335. So it did run in the after hours there, STAF. And so keep an eye on that one as we go into tomorrow because, like I said, it curled up right off that MACD, didn't even get down that far, hit that support line or that trend line down there, and started to look good. So STAF started to cruise. You may want to watch it tomorrow for a momentum play. Like I said, it was moving in the after hours. So, of course, you're going to look for it as a momentum play. That TPET, we've been looking at it. It ran up to the top, had a little tiny pullback, and then curled up. You may want to check this out as it looks like it wants to try to get up into that top area tomorrow. So another one you might want to look at for a momentum play. It is trying to get into the top right there, and it may get in there and really start to run. It's trying to break that resistance. It got over it, but it closed right around it at that 224. So watch for TPET tomorrow. And the game is 10-3. The Rams are beating the Vikings. It's in the second quarter there, so I'll keep you posted on that. And it is an NFL playoff game. And like I said, PET is should be cruising with some momentum, and that GCTK, that gluco track, this was running around today. It was up, it came down, it ran up, but I'll tell you what, it looks like it's setting up right here. GCTK, it went 14 to 21 today. It's down to 13, and it's just sitting on top of them. That MACD line looks pretty curled up to me and looks pretty decent. So keep an eye on that because I think that still wants to run. And I would say it's still set up right there. So keep an eye on that GCTK. We've been looking at it. And how about DATS? This was running around that DAT chat. It ran up over $9 the other day, and today it's starting to cruise back up. It had pulled back there and it curling up, and now it's looking like what 501 to 658, and it is at 553 right now. So it is up a little bit, and it doesn't look bad to try to continue up. I mean, we'll have to look at it tomorrow, but it doesn't look bad to try to continue its way up there. So we will take a look at that, and exactly how much does it cost to change your logo? Is that a wise use of your shareholders' money and resources? Walmart's marketing department confirmed the cost of $50 million for the logo design. Shut up. No, shut. How? It did the exact same thing. That's insane. You got to see this, guys. I'm about to repost what they did. They literally changed the logo. It's the exact same logo, and you're saying they cost $50 million. I mean, we could have all done that for $3, right, with AI. I mean, that's like for free. We could have did it for free with ChatGPT or Grok. I mean, holy cow, that's insane right there. Wow. Anyway, that's Walmart for you. And I was laughing. I was cracking up when I saw that. I didn't believe it was true when they said they changed the logo. And I looked at it and it was exact. I was like, wait, that's the logo. I was like, they didn't even change anything. And then I saw the before and after. I was like, okay, so what did they do? You're saying it cost $50 million for that? Holy cow. That's blown my. I wonder who has that design contract right there. Like what family member owns the graphic design company for Walmart that just got paid $50 million to what, shorten the yellow thing and fatten it up a little bit? Like I don't even know what it did. Anyway, who cares? That's Walmart for you right there. DATS. Let's see if it wants to run up. Like I said, it could. It's hard to tell tonight, so we'll look at it in the morning. LAC, this one's at Lithium Americas Corp, and it is getting set up here, guys. I caught my attention today after it pulled back a little bit, and I think things might try to get set up. And this one in particular might be a really good one to keep your eye on. So I think LAC wants to start running soon, and that one's getting set up there. That SENS, this one ran up there pretty nice. Waxlack, he said he would have done it for less. Yeah, me too. I would have done it for 1/10 of that $50 million to make that design. I would have gave them a whole entire portfolio of them. They would have been like, you could have chose whatever size and shape you wanted, and it still wouldn't have cost close to that. I mean, who the hell did they pay $50 million to? I mean, what? That's don't they have their own graphic design department in there? I mean, Jesus, it's Walmart. Holy cow, my head's like, I can't even fathom that $50 million to design the exact same thing. It's pretty wild, guys. SENS. That is crazy, I'm telling you. But SENS, we looked at it last night and we're saying look at it as a momentum play today. And SENS, what did it do? Like we knew it ran up in that after hour, 68 to 94. And then today it opened at 74. It had closed at 71, so it did gap up 3 cents. Big deal. It got up to 81 and came down to 67. It's at 73, so not really that bad right there. So yeah, that's SENS. We were looking at that for a momentum play last night. And honestly, it's still in the top right there. It could bounce back up tomorrow. So I would keep an eye on that one possibly. And costs were just not for the actual design, but associated costs of design, research, and consequential marketing and packaging changes. Every bag, every sign, etc. Yeah, and they still went nuts. I mean, why would you even waste your time changing it like that? That's what I mean. It's kind of crazy that, yeah, it's that, and I figured you have to change all the signage and everything. But could you imagine you're changing the signage to that? Like, why even bother? It's not even a change. I don't think anyone even is going to notice that they changed the logo, and that's going to be $50 million. So that's pretty wild, guys. Anyway, we'll leave that alone. That's Walmart. They're crazy. And we'll look at Walgreens because this one turned it around somehow. I have no idea how, but it's looking much better. And they were like on the brink of collapse in there, trying to sell it privately. I don't think they ever did sell it privately. And somehow I guess they figured it out real quick and got it to move. So that's Walgreens here, and it is up today and doesn't look bad to try to run up in this top. So that's WBA, and we looked at it yesterday. It ran pretty nice. Today it's just up there, 1170 to 1194. It did come back to 1096, and it's at 1176. So that is Walgreens, and like I said, not looking bad. And I'm telling you, they looked terrible there for a while, and the chart doesn't look as bad now. I can definitely say that they changed it around, but they were in trouble for obvious. I was saying it, and then they almost tried to sell it privately. And I have to go back. I was looking the other day. I just didn't see anything crazy like how they changed it around there. But I was looking to see what they were up to, and I didn't see anything. Again, I'm not the biggest news person. I scrolled down FinViz and tried to figure it out. So that was the extent of my research for Walgreens. But like I say, I look at the chart. They were about to go bankrupt, and they announced like a week later that they were about to sell. They were trying to sell it privately, and then we stopped looking at it, and it looks great, and not great, but it doesn't look bad to be honest. It actually doesn't look bad at all. So that is WBA. Went from looking like bankruptcy to actually looking good. And again, I just tell you what the chart looks like. I wasn't knocking the company before. I was just saying that it looked terrible, and it did. So they changed that around, and it looks better. So good for Walgreens there. That's good to see. And SYRS just kind of pulled back. I don't know if it's really dipping here, but it just kind of pulled back today. Didn't do a whole lot. It did 22 to 23 down to 20, and it closed at 23. It looks like it's trying to set up today is what it looked like it was trying to do. So we were talking about this one, that SYRS, and it does look much better down here in this 23 cent area. So keep an eye on that because we know that is setting up right there. And that's SYRS and AERT, I believe that is Aries Technology. This had run up not long ago. It was coming down, hitting that MACD line right there, AERT. And I think this one, I'll have to look at it tomorrow. It almost looks like it wants to curl through going down. And at the same time, it almost looks like it could jump up onto that 20 at 83 cents. It got up there today to 84. So it has the potential to do it. You just can't really tell if it's going to, but I'll look at this tomorrow and get a better idea if it wants to get moving. If it can jump up there, it'll actually be pretty good right there. COEP, this one was looking good. We were looking at this last night, and it looked like a little momentum play. It's been running for a little bit here, COEP. And let's see, I typed it in the same chart twice. But yeah, 743 to 850. It came down to 624 and then it closed at 820. So it does still look bullish and it still looks like it wants to run up there. So it got into the top now. Keep an eye on that to have a little momentum in the morning as well, because you know that once they get into the top, they generally keep that momentum. And I'm not saying it keeps it for a long time. Just for example, what was that other one? G something. I'm trying to think. GNQRQ maybe. What the heck was it? GRNQ. That was it. GRNQ. For example, we looked at this last night, and I said, watch this for a momentum play. You could see it closed Friday there at that 207, or where to close at. It was up here. Yeah, 207. It was at a tie. And then this morning it opened up at 216, ran up to 228. It wasn't anything that crazy, but it still ran up and came all the way down to 109. It's at 110 right now. So we knew that was going to run early in the morning. Again, these momentum plays, you got to be early on Webull at 4 a.m. to catch most of these bad boys. Now, is that one going to set back up and get moving again? It appears that it's going to be honest. GRNQ, but we knew that was a momentum play. And if you're new and listening, a momentum play, that's all that is. The thing's already been running up there, and you can tell in the morning it's going to run up more. But in the morning, that's at 4 a.m. nowadays. And like I talk about all the time, these markets have changed drastically. You have 24/7 trading. Pre-market's basically 4 a.m. at this point. I do the show at 7. It used to be 7 a.m. It's now 4 a.m. And between 4 and 5 a.m., it's like a whole entire day of trading went through. And then it kind of just like teeters off and maybe a little bit. Some days it stays hot to all the way to 7. Some days, people seem like they go and they just trade from 4 to 5 and go have breakfast and come back. And yeah, it's a totally different world. But between that 4 and 5, you're seeing things run like wildfires. And they're not going to run like that during the regular market after they did it at 4 a.m. because people are dumping a bunch of them shares. And the people that have the most, they're probably taking them profits at 4 a.m. because they know it's going to run. So you got to factor that in when we're looking at these. And like I say, a momentum play, like I wasn't getting up to play GRNQ. I knew it was going up, but that wasn't something I would ever been buying because I would have had to be up at 4 a.m. to make sure I was trading it on a Webull account. So just make sure that you're taking that into account. And if you have any questions, just shoot me a DM or shoot a comment. Plenty of people in this community that are amazing. I'm telling you, we have a great community here. It keeps getting bigger and better each day. And so many friendly people. I talk to everybody. And like I said, everybody has great information. So if you ever have a question about anything, don't feel shy to ask. And if you don't want to post a comment, just shoot me a DM because I answer everybody. And I know Laptop Travel is great with it too. And he's very super knowledgeable. So you could always reach out to him and he's always posting comments and talking to everybody. So between the two of us and everybody else, I think you can get some answers if you're just have any questions or if you're ever confused or don't know what I'm talking about, just shoot me a message. I'll definitely answer you back. But yeah, that's what I was talking about for that GRNQ and a lot of these momentum plays. So I just wanted to touch base and make sure everybody was on the same page about that and the difference between that momentum and a setup, because that momentum is just going to be that quick run up in the morning for the most part. I mean, we do catch some of them last week that were really running up in that top, but that doesn't happen as often as you would like it to happen. It used to happen way more often, but again, the markets have changed a lot. So there you go with that info. And in laptop travel, let me see. It just popped up here, and yeah, it's like a pre market. You're right. That's a good way to explain it. And we've been having some great success cherry picking in the overnight market and getting out before now the 4 a.m. pre market opens. Then sit back and watch it through the morning and sit out or play it again. And you're absolutely right. It's exactly what we've been doing. And you can see which ones are going to be popping early in the morning. But again, they're like 4 a.m.ers. I'm not up trading them. I make it clear. So that's why I haven't been playing these penny stocks, because a lot of them, they're popping at 4 a.m. at that pre-market. I like that name right there. So it is. It's like a pre-market, and it's like a party in that pre-market some days. I'm telling you, you see volume that you just can't even believe at 4 a.m. So, and it's about to get even crazier now that these markets are really trading 24/7. They're going to be competing with crypto. And again, we're 7 days away from changing this administration over. So I think it's going to get even crazier when that starts to happen, so in a good way. And so just want to give everybody that heads up and just let everybody know that that's what we're talking about here. So that was GRNQ, and like I said, it did run today, right? Like we wanted it to, but it was an early momentum play, and that's why I've been trying to make them clear like that. But I just wanted to make that very clear there. And CNSP, this one is setting up really good. It was down a little bit. I mean, it ran around, but that 50 and 20, I could see this thing trying to move tomorrow, guys. So keep your eye on it. It actually did move today. It went 12 to 14. It did come back to 12 or 11 and closed at 12, and it's hitting that MACD line. They were starting to curl up really nice. It looks like the 50 crossed over it in the after hours, because I'm looking at both charts, and it definitely didn't do it in the regular market. And so I'll look at this in the morning. It's interesting what an hour difference can make right there, or 2 hours. But I'll definitely take a look at CNSP, because it was looking really good to try to get moving. It still doesn't look bad. It just looks a little bit different than it did in the regular market, and how it closed that after hours, crossed that 50 down over to 20. I'm just curious as if it wants to bounce off of that, or if it might pull back. So we'll look at that CNSP and just see what it wants to do right there. So I jotted it down at the bottom, and I'll mark it there. That GNS, this was down 5 cents. Let's see if it pulls back here to that 50 cents. Yesterday, it looked like it wanted to jump up onto that 20 right there. And then today, it just kind of pulled itself down, which was fine. And see if it comes down like another 10 cents into the 50 to 49, 50 cent area right there. And then it's going to be popping off that bottom. It looked like it was trying to get there. And today, it literally came down to that MACD line. And maybe today's the bottom there at that 55 cents. So we'll have to check out GNS in the morning. And like I said yesterday, on a Sunday night, as it closed on a Friday, it looked like it wanted to have that momentum. And then the entire market opened up red. So it was hard for some of them to really jump up and get moving. The market did look better in the afternoon. So we'll see. I think, like I said, I think we're going to start to see things turn around. I think we saw some nice dippage. Could see a little more pullback, and we'll look at the SPY and the big caps and them bad boys mag 7s, but we'll go through all that. But I think we're going to see them start to reverse soon. So here we go. RIG, this one's starting to look good. It was up 6 cents and was trying to curl up here. And like I said, RIG, that Transocean, we were looking at it the other day. It's been running up here. It's been topping out at like that 420 on that smoke break. And today it went 411 to 413. It's at 411, and it does look pretty good. So watch for rig right here. That's funny. It's got a rig, and it's taking a smoke break at 420. So there you go on its Transocean voyage over here. So keep an eye on this rig, because it does look pretty good. It wants to get up to this over that 420. It keeps hitting it. That's its resistance. And And yeah, once it gets through 420 and it can put the rig down, it'll start cruising up there. So I think it's going to try to. We'll keep an eye on that tomorrow as well. And you can keep an eye on that, see if it does exactly like I'm saying, because that's what it looks like it wants to do. And B Hat, how do they have another offering here? They just announced another $4.3 million offering. They had one. So let's get this. They had one January 6th, right? 4.4 million. January 8th, 3.9 million, and then today's the 13th, 4.3 million. That's absurd right there. I mean, holy cow, you want to talk about diluting a stock, and it didn't look bad. Every time it looks good, they just throw it down. It went down today some, and we'll have to look at it real quick. It is touching down at that bottom B hat, BHAT, and it went from 9 to 10 down to 6. It's at 7 and crossed down. And we'll see how far if it really wants to get into this basement. I'm not so sure it wants to, but I don't doubt it after three direct offerings. So we'll see if it can base out right here at that line at the bottom, or if it wants to actually cross through and get into the basement down there. But yeah, that's what these penny stocks love to do. This thing just ran up the other day, and like I said, on New Year's Eve, it ran up. They threw an offering out there right after that, and then another one in January 6th, 8th, and today. I mean, that's crazy right there. So that's BHAT. That's just as crazy as Walmart spending $50 million to keep the same damn logo. I mean, BHAT's like, can we have that $50 million, please? And we'll make you a logo and change all the signs. I mean, Jesus, that's absurd. They wouldn't have to revert or have so many direct offerings here. So anyway, that's BHAT and their beat, it looks like, and their BHAT. We'll see if it can bounce, and hopefully it can. So that's BHAT and DEVS. Let's look at this one. We haven't looked at this in a while. It was in the basement there for a long time. It did jump up, and now it looks like it was trying to get running and pulled back. A lot of them, honestly, I've going through the market today. A lot of them have that big pullback look from the last two trading days, being last week that it was pretty down. So a lot of them had that pullback look, and a lot of them almost look like they want to bottom tomorrow, including this one, DEVS. It got opened at 64. It came down to 53. Its high was 66, and it's at 59 right now. So it could pull back some more, but it is hitting that bottom line and that MACD line. And I kind of feel like a lot of them, I'm not saying they're going to run through the moon right now, but maybe they're going to be bouncing back up with a nice run up. And like I said, you're going to see things get bullish, and then it's going to come down. This market's topped out, you can tell. And once they start cutting things a lot, the market will pull back. It needs to, and it's for the better, but we're just going to have to be prepared early and maybe sit out like a week or two before it happens, because you just don't know the exact day. Make sure you're cash heavy. And then when these things start dipping down, you start putting them down, and then you ride them down, then you catch them at the bottoms and ride them back up. So that's kind of how I'm looking at things, especially after this little pullback that we just saw, and just getting prepared for what we're about to see, so we can absolutely smash it every which direction, because it definitely pulled back pretty good right here, that's for sure. So we'll catch it on the way up and make sure that we're prepared for the next one. So that's DEVS, and again, like I'm saying, they look like they could be bottoming out, maybe pulling back a little bit more, but they definitely all have that pullback look. MDAI similar, down 19 cents today, coming down to that 50, which is at 187. It could come down tomorrow a little bit more, but I think that's going to be bottoming out like the rest of these bad boys, and trying to move back up. So let that pull back. We'll keep an eye on it. KYTX, I saw a couple people mention this. I don't even know what it's called. Kyverna something therapeutics. I like to just try to say the names because I can't pronounce any of them. So it's like a game. And yeah, KY, yeah, something like that. Who cares? But anyway, it's coming down to the bottom. It looks like it might have to come down a little bit more. It did go up in the after hours. Let me see, because that doesn't look like it really wants to pop off of that spot yet. And it is touching right there at what 328. It got down there, didn't it? Yep, 328. So it did touch, and it could come down to that 310. I'll look at it tomorrow. It almost looks like it wants to pull back a little bit more. It did cross down coming down the MACD, so it would have to really make a pretty quick pop up there and get cruising if it wanted to move tomorrow. So we'll take a look at that one tomorrow. I saw a couple people talking about that and posted it for us to look at it, and that was KYTX and WISA. WISA. This one's WISA Technology Semiconductor, and they were looking great. I mean, they ran up a little bit there on at the end of the year, and then kind of pulled back and tried to run there in January 6th last week. But after that Monday, it was just a disaster, and for the semiconductors and a lot of the market. So they did pull back there, and WISA did the exact same thing, coming back down, and again coming back down to that bottom. I think you're going to see these things run up. I think we're going to have a lot of them to choose from. It's just a matter of choosing your best one, the one that you like the best, and run it up and trade it smart. You don't want to get crazy trading 10 of them when you can just load up on the one you're confident with and trade it smart, and you'll probably do better than if you traded a bunch. So HSDT, this one looks like it was doing the same thing, trying to get set up here. It is pulling back a little bit, but it was trying to like parachute its way down. It caught itself on the 20. I could see this trying to curl back up. This Helios Medical Technologies to try to get moving again has to get back up over that 68. It's at 69 in the after hour, so it's right there. And like I said, I could see it get moving tomorrow, so I'll take a look at this one. It's trying to set up right there is what it looks like. So HSDT not looking bad. How about this SGN, this signing day sports it's called? And that's way down here. Looks like it's basing out in a really good spot, guys. I think we're going to have to definitely keep an eye on this one and look at it tomorrow. We may have to add this one to the list if it's going to be a good setup right here. That one might have to get a number one and probably go on the list right here, because SGN looking like that, look like it's right there. And that 20 is just over that 286. We're sitting at about 256, 252 area, and it's right there. Just look for these dip and rips if it's going to dip any more than that 225 it came down. Looks like it's low, so keep an eye on this SGN, because that thing is looking good down here, trying to get set up and move. PNST, Pinstripes Holdings, let's see what they're doing here. This is a restaurant. I can't imagine any restaurants look good. I know that industry. I was a chef for, man, that was the first thing I did after high school. I went to culinary school, and my last chef job, and I talked about it before, I did a whole cooking show online like over a decade ago with my buddy that was a little person. Unfortunately passed away during COVID. Chuck Love, he was the best. And we did a cooking show together. It's called Cooking with Skinny and Minnie. I posted the link before. And but my last chef job was for the NFL. I worked for the NFL. I was a chef. I used to cook for all the talent, and they do all the NFL shows. And yeah, I cooked for all the guys, and it was an awesome gig. And I said after that, I told you before, I said I'll never clock in and out of another job, and I held to it. And but that was an awesome thing. So I do know the restaurant industry. I was in it for a long time, and yeah, it's a tough industry. You get burned out from it. And back when I did it, it was much more profitable, and even the margins were really tight. I always say, everyone should work in the restaurant business. At least before, it was really not. I mean, it's like growing up. You learn how to do everything when you work in a restaurant, from the front of the house to the back of the house. You work with all kinds of crazy people. You just learn a lot. It's a crazy atmosphere, and and then you learn food safety and that stuff, which is pretty important in life, I must say, since you eat every day. So you should probably know how to cook some things and know how to do stuff. So yeah, the restaurant industry used to be a good time. It used to be fun, but it's not so fun anymore. And the margins were always tight. You had to be good at really making money in the restaurant, and being, you had to know how to not cut corners, but you knew how to save money here and there, and just a little spots where what your profit margins could make. And today, I just don't understand understand. I say it to my wife all the time. I just don't get how any of them are even open. I mean, just the food cost and your employee, like your employee cost, is just so astronomical, and them two alone that you would have to make them so tight before that it's just physically impossible alone with just that right there. That's why you see the prices. But still, I mean, you always have waste in food, so in the restaurant industry, and that's how you make your money. If you can figure out how to keep that waste extremely low and really use everything, that's how you make your money. And good luck today. And then trying to find good help. Yeah, right. And you need some good help to be in that industry. So I'm not sure how any of them survived, to be honest with you. And it's sad because the restaurant industry, like I said, is such a great industry. You learn so much. I think it's a great thing for people to be in. And it's just gotten destroyed since COVID. Absolutely just destroyed. And it's sad. But anyway, this is a restaurant company. That's why I was talking about that. And I'm not surprised whenever I see any of them going down or going bankrupt or going out of business, because I just don't see how any of them can even survive right now. I just don't see it possible. Even the best restaurant. I'll give you an example. I'm from the Philadelphia area. Look up a guy, and a lot of you probably know who he is. He's pretty well known now, but Steven Starr, he pretty much came from this area. And New York, he's had a few restaurants, and I'm pretty sure he's all over the country now. But yeah, he's focused in Philly. He has a bunch of restaurants and Budokan, and he's one of the greatest to do it. And you can see, like, I follow it, and you can see he scaled back big time. So he was making all kinds of crazy restaurants and everywhere, and you can see he hasn't opened up any in a long time. And he's probably one of the best restaurateurs to do it, to be honest with you. Everything that guy touches is amazing, and yeah, he's not even trying to mess with it. So, and he has a ton of restaurants, and I always think about him like he's just lucky he's in the cities, because in a very busy area, because if not, it wouldn't survive. I mean, I see what happens around here and in the suburbs, and these restaurants get crushed. They used to do so well, and now they just get destroyed. So anyway, long talk about restaurants, but here we go. Pinstripe Holdings. It is pulling back here, going to that bottom, and we'll see it. It almost looks like it might want to bounce off that bottom here. It did dip down 40, opened at 40 and came down to 35. It's at 37, so it's sitting right there. Tomorrow's probably an interesting day for it. I don't know what's going on in their world, but it just looks like I just scrolled down November 29th. It says if this company faces financial uncertainty amid capital challenges and store performance concerns. Well, basically what I was just saying. But yeah, tomorrow looks like it might be a pretty critical day for this company for whatever it is. And Laptop Travel is saying that he loved the restaurant business. He did it for a quarter of a decade, 17 different states, national Save Surf instructor. There you go. Job number one. Yeah, I always had my Serve Safe. I think this might be the longest amount of time I haven't had Serve Safe certification. It expired a couple of years ago, and obviously I just didn't get a new one. But yeah, I've always been Serve Safe certified and all that good stuff. I love the restaurant. I cook all the time. I enjoy it. Clearly wouldn't be able to hang anymore with my brain injury. It just wouldn't happen. Although I hear that I probably could, because people just don't work anymore. So it's like anyone you hire, they basically are working like they have a brain injury. But anyway, yeah, the long hours would kill me. I mean, you just work extremely long hours, and the heat and stuff. I just wouldn't be able to do it on my feet. But I love that industry. I always enjoyed it. I would after a long shift, and I worked in some really nice country clubs, some great places. Like I said, I worked for the NFL. I was blessed with great jobs. Still talk to like everybody I've ever worked with for the most part. And yeah, I was the type of person that would get done as a chef, and if the dishwashers were backed up, you take off your chef coat and you bang out the dishes with the dishwashers, and that's just the way I was raised and the way I did it. So now Now you see, you keep that work ethic, no matter if you're a dishwasher, chef, no matter what. I was always raised that way, and you also gain a ton of respect. So when you're in the weeds and you need help, these guys come out of nowhere and just bow you out, and that's the way it should work. You help people when they need help, and they help you. That's how things become successful, and that's why the industry used to be great, but you don't see that anymore. And I know the guy that lives behind me is like actually the head chef for a major restaurant corporation in this area. They have a bunch of restaurants, this family, and they're all very successful. He's the head chef for them, and you could tell he has the greatest stories. He tells me it's so crazy. I'm like so glad I don't do that anymore. He's told me any day you want to come in and work for any time, just let me know. And I'm like, yeah, I might have to pass on that, but yeah, he tells me some wild stories every time I hear him, and every day he's trying to find help. I can tell you that right now. So it's definitely a tough industry. So anyway, we'll get off of the restaurant business and cruise right along, but it is a wild industry, and it used to be great. ESTA Establishment Lab Holdings Medical Devices here. Let's see. And in the weeds, one of his favorite expressions. That in the 86. It's 86. Everyone's like, no, it's not 86. Oh man, I just sold that to this table. And you're like, oh well, you better go sell him something better. And yeah, best terms. I'm telling you, the restaurant industry was just so much fun, and just not the same anymore. ESTA Medical Device Company Established Labs. This one took a huge hit today, and we'll probably want to keep an eye on this bad boy. ESTA. Let's see, if I could type it in, that would be good. Yeah, that's like 45.40 down to 30.20. It's at 35. So this one could possibly bounce back up tomorrow, guys. So keep an eye on this for a little bounce action. I'm not sure if it's definitely going to do it. I'll just write a number 4 for our bounce. Just keep an eye on it for that. It could. It has that look like it has the potential to do it. So just keep an eye on that one for a bounce if you want to watch that, especially in the morning. IOVA, this one took a nice dip too. I was looking at this bad boy as I was going through the list, and it was down 630 down to 577. It's at 585, and it does look like it wants to pull back a little bit more. It's in the basement. I can't exactly tell how far, but it does want to pull back. It looks like to set up to run. So another one that's going to have potential. I'm just not sure it's bouncing tomorrow. I think the PNST could have or ESTA could have a better chance to bounce, but I could be completely wrong. And that XXII, remember we were looking at this thing? This thing ran up like crazy today. This one went up like over $1, I think. 501, yeah, to 1249. It was way up there. And what did it did it in like the pre-market, I think. No, it did it in the regular 1249, it says. It did it in regular hours there, and it's at 680 right now. So keep an eye on this thing because it did run up, and it's honestly not looking bad on either chart here for that XXII, that 22nd century group. I've talked about it before. Like I said, they say it's a tobacco company. They had some kind of cannabis ties and did something. I don't know what the heck they used to do, but anyway, they did get moving today, so just keep an eye on that one. AZTR, let's see this one right here, because this one was cruising up pretty good today. I saw that. AZTR, 37 to 86. It closed at 75 and does not look bad. So you keep an eye on this one for a momentum play in the morning right here. That AZTR, it could possibly continue to run up there. It looks like it wants to right there. And ALLR, this one is curling up here and looks really good. So keep your eye on ALLR. I think this one's trying to get moving. It got moving 102 to 130 or 113, and it closed at 105. It basically has to get to like 106 and it can get cruising again. So it's just sitting right there. It looks like it wants to. So I would watch that one. It looks like it is setting up there for ALR. We did that GRNQ, and like I said, that was a momentum play. NVNI. We looked at this last night and it was just kind of pulling back a little bit. And in the after hours, it started to move. Pretty sure it was on Laptop Travel's list. Not looking bad. Today, it got down to 127. It's back to 148. And you might have that bottom right there. It almost hit the 200, I think. So it's in between these channels and it came down under the 50 to the 200. And I think it could be looking good here. It's a software company in Brazil. So keep an eye on this NVNI. I'll look at it tomorrow, see if it wants to get set up here. But it wasn't looking bad. LULU, Lulu, this bad boy, what's it doing? It's at 398. It's trying to curl up there. You're right. It does look pretty good. LULU. Let's see. Yeah, 389 to 420. That took a smoke break. And I closed at 400, and it is looking good. So they must have some sales on their clothing coming up, and that's Lulu, LULU. And it is looking pretty solid to run up. I would say you should keep an eye on that one. That one looks like it wants to run, to be honest with you. And LMT, what is Lockheed Martin doing? I did look at it today. It was up a lot. And remember, I was talking about it was in the basement. Well, it did cruise today here, LMT. And I'm telling you, this thing wanted to run right here. LMT, Lockheed Martin, 469 to 484. It's at 481 right now. It crossed through and it did run up. And that bottom was right where we thought it was at that 461 area. And honestly, still has some room to run up. We'll have to see. They have some earnings coming up. It's hitting that 20. So we'll have to see how it reacts tomorrow. But there was that pop up that we've been watching for. And I still think it's going to get moving. It's just a matter if it moves some more tomorrow. And the game is 24 to 3 to Rams. And it's just turned into halftime. So I wasn't even paying attention, sitting here talking about restaurants, and the Rams are running a restaurant around the Vikings right there because they just served them. It's 24 to 3, I said. So yeah, they're going into halftime, and there you go at that. We'll cruise through the rest of these bad boys real quick. I won't talk about restaurants anymore. And YOSH. Let's look at this guy. But Lockheed Martin looking really good. That popped up, and we'll keep an eye on it. This YOSH is pulling back here, and it is there's another restaurant right here. Where there you go. Not talking about restaurants, and I go right to a restaurant one. And did it bounce in the after hours? Yeah, it did. Hold on, because that's crazy. Let's see. It says 296 to 29, and then it says it got up to 356 in the after hours. This actually says it went up to 502. So this one just bounced out of nowhere. I don't even know what happened, but it's a restaurant one that looks good. They announced financing commitments of up to $11 million. So I'm not sure what happened, but it bounced up on that. I'd be careful with it, though, after that bounce up, and it's probably going to be hitting some resistance, I'm sure. So I'd have to look at it in the morning after that run up in the after hours. But that's a restaurant one that just ran up there, but I have a feeling that one's coming back down, and it's not looking very bullish. It looked like it wanted to pop off. It did just pop off. I didn't think it was going to do it today, but it looked like it was going to pull back, hit that bottom, and pop. But there you go, and it's probably going to be pulling back. YOSH and SLRX. This one was setting up and running up today. This is one that we had just recently looked at, and it had run up not too long. Like the other day, they were running up towards the end of the year, and then January 6th. Today, 183 to 720. It's at 361 right now, and this bad boy got cruising. SLRX, and I'm not so sure. It has that look again. Tomorrow morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, you guys, it may be popping up as a momentum play for you. I'll even write it down as a momentum, but you guys know it's going to be moving at 4 a.m. It's not staying up, I don't think, that long, but it may pop back up there and run up early. So keep an eye on that. SLRX right there. VLO, let's see, VLO. That's Valero Energy. This one's running up. We were looking at this last night, and the energy sector did look good. It did run up, and it looks pretty good to continue its way. So keep your eye on that one. Looks pretty nice right there. FAMI, FAMI. This one was running up Friday. It was kind of pulled back, but nothing bad. It does have an interesting look for sure. FAMI. and it did run what day? January 10th, Friday. Yeah, it ran up to 60 cents. Today, 36 down to 31. That's where it's sitting, but not bad. I'd have to look at FAMI in the morning, but FAMI not looking bad right there. ADTX, this is one that just stays in the basement. It reminds me of that ALLR, and it did pull back a little bit more today. So I guess that bottom wasn't completely in because it came down to 14 cents again. And I think the bottom before was like 15. So I don't know what the heck this thing's waiting for, but it just pulled back. Maybe that's your dip and rip. Your 20's still up here though at like 21 and a half. It keeps pulling away from it. It was right there and it just keeps pulling away from that. So ADTX, we're just going to have to keep an eye on it. And there you go. Keep an eye on that laptop travel. And he said, aye, aye, Captain. So yeah, I think that that last one could run up in the morning there. So, but like I said, ADTX, not sure what this thing is waiting for down here in the basement forever. Reminds me of that ALLR. When we watched that, it was in the basement for a long time. I was saying the same thing. Not sure what this thing's waiting for. And then it just ran like over 150%. Like the one day just popped out of nowhere and ran up super high, and everybody was super happy about it. So, that's what this one reminds me of. I'm just not sure when it's going to do the run right there. FGL Founder Group. This one actually doesn't look bad. Someone posted it, and then I went to comment on it, and it like disappeared. I guess they didn't like it, but I liked it, so I wrote it down. FGL, I thought it looked pretty good right here. So keep your eye on this because I think it's setting up 181 to 244. It's at 212, and it looked pretty good to me. So wants to curl up and set up there for FGL, and it's not looking bad right there. So I'll put a 3 on that. And BBLG, it says, let's see what that's doing. Bone Biologics. Oh, we were watching this and it ran up and now it pulled back almost perfectly. Let's watch it tomorrow. This one's going to be a great one for tomorrow to keep an eye on. This one could even roll off and get cruising tomorrow, guys. So I might have to add this one to the list right here. BBLG looking good, I think. And I know it's definitely setting up there. I'm not sure if it wants to run yet, but it's getting close. So that's BBLG, not looking bad. I can say that. TRIB. Let's see. That one's going to pull back right there. Not looking bad either. So let's see. And how many people just commented? How many people worked in the restaurant industry? Because I was just sitting here thinking, I was like, I bet almost half of you have worked in the restaurant industry at some point in your life. It was such a common thing when you're younger. And again, it's just great experience. It makes you like learn about a lot of stuff, whether you do the front of the house, the back of the house. Doesn't really matter. You just learn a bunch. So I'm just curious how many people worked in it and how many people enjoyed it because I always thought it was a fun industry. I stayed in it for a long time. So anyway, TRIB, let's see how this is. It was just kind of pulling back here. It looks a little flat, not terrible. It's just right there on the 20. I could see this trying to curl up tomorrow, but it would be one that I have to look at. Can't say that it's exactly going to curl up, but it doesn't look too bad. I would look at it. And again, the market's just been all over the place right now, so can't exactly tell, but some of these you can. Not every one of them like this one, EYEN. I mean, we knew this was running up, and now it's pulled back here. Looks like it could pull back a little bit more. But this one's going to set up really nice again. So EYEN, I'm not so sure it's going to roll off that MACD or if it's going to cross down. I can't really tell at the moment the way it looks, but I can just tell it's going to get set up soon. So regardless of which one it wants to do, we'll probably be able to tell closer to tomorrow or Wednesday, and we can keep an eye on that. And that is EYEN, Inovia, and that did run nice for us. SOBR, we were looking at this, and then it took a major dip today. I had it on my list and on my watch list because I was keeping an eye on it. It's just been kind of running flat. And then today, 95 to 96, and then came down to 79 and closed at 81. So maybe that dip and rip situation, I'll keep an eye on. Scientific and Technical Instruments. It was setting up right there, looking much better. Especially again, they all started to dip there, but on last Tuesday, January 7th, looked good, and then boom, that market got red and things started to pull back, and you can just see how it just went downhill right there. So that is SOBR and ASST. That one. asset entities. This one ran not long ago, and it is pulling back as well. So we have a lot of them pulling back, some of them setting up, and this one's about to hit that MACD tomorrow. So I'll have to take a look at that because that could come through and come way down here until like the 30s. It's at 45 right now. So ASST could pull back a little bit more right there. So we'll have to keep an eye on that to see exactly what it wants to do. And let's just cruise right through GRRR. Here we go, that Gorilla Technology Group, and it's pulled back. It's trying to base out. Not sure if today's 1085 was its bottom there, but it is trying, I would say, to base out. So we'll see if it comes down to that 50, which is at 934. It's sitting at 1290 right now. It did come down to that 1085, so we'll see what it wants to do tomorrow to GRRR. And like I was saying at the beginning, a lot of these have that pullback look, so you're just not exactly sure. I don't want to jump the gun and say, yeah, they're popping up because they're not giving me that exact look. I could see where they start curling up. I could also see where a lot of them still pull back another day or so. So like I said, we're just keeping an eye on things and we'll find the bottoms and we'll run up the ones that we like and we'll definitely make some nice profits on them. So that's the way I look at it. And again, now at this point, putting them down, I'm not sure how far they're going to go down, so that's why I'm kind of saying we got to keep an eye on things. But they were definitely coming down, so they were easy to put down and make money coming down too as well. So LICN, that lich in China, this one's still in the basement. Pull back some more today. LICN, and let's see what that one is going to start to do. And still under that 20 right there. It's curled up, but not looking like it wants to pop tomorrow. So again, not sure if that's the bottom. It keeps dipping down. It looked like it bottomed out there at that 15 and a half, and now it's at 14 and a half. So LICN, can't exactly tell, but you can see it's going to start to set up fairly soon. And I think the whole market is. It's just you can't tell if it's ready in the next day or two. I'm not so sure it is. We could still see a little more pullback for a day or so. EFSH, 1847 holdings. This thing was actually looking pretty good. It has that flat look and it's trying to curl up. Not sure what's going on with this thing over here. We were looking at it before and it does look pretty good. That 20 is trying to come down and grab it. So I would keep an eye on that EFSH because I think that's getting set up right there. So we will look at that. And SNSE, that good old Sensi. This was up a penny, and I saw it moving, and I'm telling you, this thing wants to get rolling again. So we were looking at it. It had run up there on the 8th, I guess last Wednesday, right before the market was closed. And it ran way up there like crazy, up to 83 cents. It's at 51, and it looks like it wants to curl back up and run again. So keep your eye on this Sensi, SNSE, and it is looking pretty good. I think it's trying to get set up right there to run up again. So keep your eye on that one for sure. And SYTA, let's see what that one's up to. SYTA. This one's just kind of pulling back right here. It was in that channel. It still kind of is, but it has a little bit of a pullback look. So I'll have to look at that tomorrow. And again, it is still in that channel. So we'll see if it really wants to dip under that 692 area. It came under today to 649. And the top of the channel is up here at like 890. It didn't get up that high today. It only got to 780. So it didn't reach that far, but it probably will try to stay in that channel, it appears. So we'll look at SYTA and see if it does. VSEE, this was starting to move in the after hours. I saw this thing moving here. VSEE, we looked at it before, VSEE Health. And 130 to 208, it's at 167. And like I said, it started to move, it looks like, in the after hours because it says it closed at 167. This says it came down to 157. And it ran up to 208, so maybe it didn't run up in the after hours. It did say it ran up at 208, so maybe it was during the regular hours. And but it doesn't look too bad for that VSEE, so we'll have to look at it tomorrow. It could run up some more right there, not looking terrible. Like I said, it just grabbed my attention as I was cruising around. And let's look at the line and a couple of the big cats right here. The line was down a penny. could be trying to set up. It did cross through coming down. Let me see if it held down there. It did cross down. It was still trying to stay in that channel though, so it's an interesting look as it's crossed through the MACD, but trying to hold on to the 20. And again, a lot of these have these weird looks where they pulled back, and I don't know if they really wanted to pull back like that, but the market obviously had them pulling back. So it's you're just like, are they going to pull back another day or two? Are they trying to bounce here, hold their ground? It is a tough one tonight. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to let you know what I see. That's what I can do. CTNT, the good old cheetah, and let's look at it. And that one took a nice dip today, and it looks like it's almost like a bottom dip because I thought it was running up at one point. CTNT, and no, maybe not 269 to 277, and it closed at 251. It got down into the 240s, so it could pull back a little bit more here. That cheetah. So again, they're hard to tell exactly if they want to bounce back up yet or if they want to keep pulling back. And JagX, this one had pulled back like 7 cents, and it does have that pullback look, and it looks like it's crossing through. So they did run up there, and last Monday, like I said, last Monday, a lot of these got toasted right after that. That was a tie. They had good momentum, and then that was a wrap for them. So JagX fit the bill for that one. CDZI, let's see, CDZI. This one was up 11 cents. This one actually doesn't look bad right here. Not looking bad to try to run up more tomorrow. I would say keep an eye on that. 528 to 568. It's at 530 and not looking terrible there. So you could get a little momentum play out of that one. CDZI. And good old Elab isn't looking bad. I looked at that today, and that one appears to be trying to curl back up here. So Elab, we played that a few times here, and it was up 3 cents. And like I said, this one's starting to look pretty good. So keep your eye on Elab. I think that's trying to get set up at the moment. And PET, let's see what PET's doing. It was down 2 cents, sitting on that 20. It's in that channel, and tomorrow is going to be a good day to check this out because it's either going to fall down through that 20 or it's going to bounce back up and stay in the channel towards that 32-cent area. So I'll keep an eye on PET and see what our pet wants to do right there. And let's take a look at a TRNR because this one had pulled back pretty good today, and it didn't look like it wanted to. It was sitting right there the other day until these last 3 days. And again, that 7th on Tuesday, it was like the 6th and the 7th. They look great, and then all of a sudden, big pullback down to the bottom, didn't cross through. So we're going to see if TRNR wants to bounce off of here, and if it's going to run, it's going to bounce off here, curl up, and start moving again. So we will look at it and see if TRNR is going to just have that healthy pullback look and run. HHH. This one, Howard Hughes Holdings, Luis Rodriguez said this one could be a good part of the California rebuild. It's a real estate company, and I think what happened? Somebody offered to buy them or so. I forget what. Oh, Bill Ackman was trying to buy them, I think, today. Howard Hughes stock pops on billionaire Bill Ackman's $85 per share offer. So there you go. And all kinds of stuff happening here. So we'll have to keep an eye on this bad boy because it's hitting the MACD line right now for HHH. And yeah, it looks like it wants to cross through at momentum. It crosses through tomorrow. You know you have a momentum play right there, and that is HHHNIVF. This one was down 5 cents. We were looking at this thing. It looked pretty good. It had that weird look on the 20, and it decided to pull back. It's not crossed down yet, but it is pulled back there, NIVF. It ran up actually this morning. I didn't even know it ran up to 59. I don't think I noticed that. Yeah, it doesn't say it either. Did it in the pre-market or the after hours? I'm not sure. I think it must have been the pre-market. I didn't notice. 39 to 57 and down to 28 because it closed at 32. So I'm going to assume it ran up early and then pulled back. I didn't even notice it. So there you go. And it's coming back to the MACD. They have earnings coming up. So we'll have to take a look at it. I know we were looking at it. Again, that's how fast these things can run up. I look at this market all the time, And I didn't even notice that thing ran up. Not that I had it, but still, I mean, you got to really be paying attention to these bad boys because they can move real fast. They can be 15 minutes up and down and be done. So you got to be paying attention when you have them. CVE, let's see this one. This is an energy company. It looks like it might be hitting that resistance right there. And let's take a look at it. It is, but almost wants to pop up over the resistance at 1552. It's at 1541 right now. I'd have to look at this tomorrow, but I have to say it's trying to push its way up is exactly what it's doing. So I could see that trying to move there. CVE and ACON. A Clarion. This one's coming down to that trend line down there on a hard support ACON, and it's crossed through, just pulling back. We'll see how far, if it wants to come through that line right there, or if it's going to set up on that line. So we'll have to pay attention to that tomorrow. And I think tomorrow or Wednesday is going to be a pretty critical day to see when these bad boys are bottoming and trying to reverse around. What is this? NOTE, good old note. And we looked at this before it had run up. And I'll tell you what, this one's just trading in that channel right there. Actually, it's over that channel. What is this thing looking at? Oh, that's the 200. I'm sorry. I'm actually wrong then. That is the 200. The 50's down here, and it's out of that channel now. So it does look pretty good. It's coming down on the MACD, but I think it should hold up. If not, it's going to come down into that channel again, down to the 101. It's at 121. So that's the 200 that's above it. And so we'll look at note and see which one that'll make a note about that, see what it wants to do. And UCAR, this one was pulling back. It hadn't run up there for a little while. We were looking at it, had a really good setup, and it is pulling back to that MACD line like so many others. And I think this one, it just barely pulled itself down. Has that crazy look, 708 to 740 down to 650. It closed at 701 and just sitting on the 20 and the 50. And it could go either way real quick. So keep an eye on that UCAR too, because that one's looking kind of wild right there. I'll have to take a look at it. Let's just jump right into our laptop travels and our Jolie's jams, and we'll see what they're up to. And then let me know what you guys want to see, and I'll take a look at what you guys want to look at on the comments. So leave a comment if you want to look at something, and we'll check it out. Crypto is down. We'll go through that. But let's keep rolling right here. AMRK it was, and that is A-Mark Precious Metals. At first, when I first looked at it, I thought it was Aramark, and I was like, this is Aramark, but it's not. It's A-Mark Precious Metals. And this one, I'll have to look at these. This is a capital market one. I was wondering what precious metals were looking like right now. And this one's on the 20 trying to get set up there, AMRK. And let's see, it just got a little bit of pullback there today to 27. That's where it's at on the line. It came onto the 20, but it's just in that channel, not looking bad. AMRK, ATLO. This one was running up there today, up 67 cents, ATLO, and that one could be a good momentum guy for tomorrow, so we may have to mark that one for a laptop travel guy. CHE, this one looks like it may want to run back up as well. I know we looked at this one recently, ChiMed or something. I remember looking at it, and this one looks like it's really getting set up, so that one might be a really good one too. And CTRI, let's take a look at this one. CTRI. And this one, oh, that one looks really good to try to cross through. Laptop Travel got a few good ones right here, and I really like that one. So there you go. That one's a good one. So we have three good ones right there. GMGI, they might be the best ones on the sheet so far. I'm telling you, there wasn't too many great setups as we went through. GMGI, this one's looking even better. If it gets through this 225, it's at 220. This one's going to get rolling. So Laptop Travels list is cruising right here. Just keep an eye on all these bad boys, and I'll go through them real quick at the end. HY, this one looks real good too, getting through that 20. So Laptop Travel got his scanner right on tune right now, because this one looks great. HY, this one should run higher right there. And it's a farm and heavy construction Heister Ale, and that one looks real good. How about IBTA? How's that looking, Laptop Travel? Because I didn't look at it. And let's see. And this one's just kind of flat right there, but not looking bad. I could see this one getting set up and maybe in the next day or so, but does look good right there. IBTA, ICFI, ICF International. This thing's running up. This should have a momentum run right here. ICFI. ICFI. Here we go. Yeah, keep that on your list for a momentum play right there. ICFI, that's what that looks like. KALU. Let's see. And this one, the same thing. Laptop Travel's list is on fire tonight, right here. KALU, you might want to look at that as a little momentum play. MG, let's see here. MG right now, Mistras Group or something. That one, oh, 20 and 50 meeting up, curling up there, looking really good. MG, it did run up though, 992 to 885. It's at 904. It still looks like it wants to curl up. It just ran up there. I would take a look at this one as well. I think that one looks pretty wild, actually. MG, MNY. Let's see what you look like here because this list is pretty good. This is Money Hero, and this one is getting set up. I think you might have a little bit of pullback on Money Hero right here, but keep an eye on it. MNY, because I think this one's getting set up right here. It's in that on that 20. It looks like it's going to pull back to the MACD line and roll back up, and you can just see it trying to set up really nice there. MNY, OCEA, Ocean Biomedical. And this thing's in that channel, and that's going to curl up and run up tomorrow. It should anyway. Yeah, that thing looks like it should run up there tomorrow. So many good ones right there. RGCO. Let's see. That one's curled through and running up, so that's looking good as well. RGCO. And let's see. Oh, yeah, that one ran up today. And it looks like it's going to keep on cruising. Watch for that 2031 resistance. But other than that, it should move. RGR, it looks like. Let's see. RGR. Sturm, Ruger and Company, Aerospace and Defense, getting cruising right here. RGR, I would say keep your eye on these guys because this one wants to run. Another great one right there. Ship, we looked at this last night. It did run up a little bit. I think it did pull back though. Let me see what it did today. SHIP. Let me see. It was up at some point. I know that it opened at 730, got up to 750, and it came down to 691. It's at 709 right now, and still not looking bad right there for Ship. So we looked at it yesterday, thought it was going to run up. It did run up a little bit again. These things are just running up and pulling back. So you just got to be able to trade these bad boys smart as all, or just lock in some profits and move to that next one. TCX. This one looks like it's trying to get set up here and roll off the MACD. So I would keep an eye on that. We'll look at it tomorrow, but it looks pretty healthy to get moving. I would say that's getting set up as well. And TNC, Tenant Company, this one did run today. It looks like TNC and 7909 to 8220. It's at 8219, and that looks like you could have a nice momentum play right there on TNC. And ULBI, let's see what ULBI is up to. That's a beautiful list right there. Ultralife Corp, and this looks like it's going to be cruising right here. Keep an eye on this. I think Laptop Travel's list looks better than the entire list combined, to be honest with you. I don't know if I could pick out three. I'll just name out a few that are great, though. That ULBI looked beautiful. And then a few in the top were great. ATLO and CHE and CTRI, GMGI. So many of them were so good right there. That OCEA was looking good. RGR. So yeah, just a ton of great ones right there. So I just kind of marked with a dot next to them. There were just too many to just keep going. And but yeah, we'll keep an eye. We can even go through some of them in the morning because they were looking nice. So we'll see what's cruising there. And that's going on in the after hours. The QQQ is up. The SPY is up a little bit. Tesla, Nvidia, Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon actually green. And Meta's down just a hair. So we'll see if they can hold up right there. So thank you, Laptop Travel. I'll retweet them out. like I said, let me know if you guys want to look at anything. I'm going to do our Jolie's jams real quick. Our Agrify, she likes Agrify. I just did a video I was talking about is pulling back. It's going to bottom out down here and get moving, but it was a really good one there for a good month or so. So I can see where she did love it. Basically November, starting in November right there, and up until just pretty much recently, it just started to really dip down. But Agrify was great. It is pulling back a little bit. That BLNK was getting set up. It ran up over probably like the seventh, and then pulled back. So it's going to get set up again. BLNK, that blink charging, not looking bad. Just had some pullback. That DRUG, that drug, it was trying to get set up beautifully. It pulled back today, and it looks like it's going to bounce off that bottom. So almost everything just wants to bounce off the bottom. So that's what you're looking at here. And yeah, DRUG came down to like the $35 area. So we'll keep an eye on this because it was setting up, and it still will. It's still going to be set up. You're just going to get a great price action on it, and we definitely love that. So that's DRUG, and that Sezzle was pulling back some more too. And as I was saying, I don't think it's coming down to the 1770 area, but let's see how far it can come down. Maybe it can hit that 200. I'm not so sure. It got down to 210 today. So Sezzle, another one that's going to pull back and get set up off that bottom right there, SEZL. And good old Rivian, RIVN, that one pulled back. It almost looks like today could be its bottom. I'm not exactly sure. It could come back down to that 1250 area. So keep an eye on Rivian. We'll look and see what it wants to do. And good old Sterling Infrastructure. This thing's trying to really set up the other day, and that was on last Tuesday, that 7th, and pulled back. It's still really trying to set up, guys. So I think Sterling Infrastructure, engineering, construction is going to be money. I think that one's really getting set up right there. So keep an eye on that. Like I said, we'll see if tomorrow is going to be the bottom. It could be. And then it's going to get cruising again up there. So we will keep an eye on STRL. And there are Jolie's jams right there. So let me go through crypto real quick, see what that's up to. And then we'll go through our SPY and our messages and everything like that. So let me see real quick, see what's going on in the crypto world. And like I said, it's actually up now. It's up a little higher than when I came on. Bitcoin's up to 94,940. It'll come down to like 90,000 today. But I was going to say it might be bottoming out here. So let's see what it's going to do. Let me go through these bad boys and see exactly what they look like. And yeah, had that really, really nice dip. And obviously at 7 o'clock it changes. So you can see it was part of yesterday's big dip, but kind of today's day still. But crypto changes usually at 7 p.m. So it's giving me today's look, which is perfect. And yeah, I think that dip yesterday or today earlier was that bottom, the 20s just above it. Let's see it kind of base out right here and get cruising back up here. So that's Bitcoin. Ethereum's at 3,162. And let me just take a quick look and see. And that one, yeah, that took a dip all the way down to the 200. Is it the 50 and the 200, right? Yeah, 50, 200. It did. It came down to that 200, and I think Ethereum's going to be trying to bottom out here. Is it going to pull back and try to make a base? It could, but I think that's probably its bottom. Ripple, we were talking about, 252. And it did touch down yesterday, and I think Ripple's about to get ripping again. Yeah, Ripple looks like it is going to get ripping again, guys. So keep your eye on Ripple because it does look good. Solana's back at 183. It was just in the 170s. It did come down, touch that 200 line, and I think you're going to get basing out and moving. Your 20s coming down for it, your 50s coming down for it, and that's when you're going to get cruising again. So I think Solana is going to be getting set up here. And again, we have 1 week until the administration's changeover, and it almost looks perfect for that setup. So that's what it looks like. Cardano's at 95 right now, ADA. And that one, That one's probably not coming back down to the 200 because that's under 60 cents. It's making a base up here in the 20s just above it or the 50. Maybe it pushes it down a little bit more. You can't really tell. Doge is at 34 and that one, the 50's up over it, trying to curl down. And I still think yesterday earlier today could have been its bottom. It did take a nice dip. So we'll see. Maybe they do pull back a little bit because them 50s are curling down. But once they get down to it, it's going to be time to get cruising. And they're going to get cruising. They've held a pretty good base for the most part, considering what they've looked like. So not too bad. Links at 1946. Not terrible there. And let's look at that WIF real quick. That's at 148. And that looks like it bottomed out possibly. Let's see what Bonk is doing here. Bonk. Bonk. Let's see Bonk. And Bonk looked like it was down. And Bonk actually like came down through the 200. None of them really did that. They touched it, but it is making a base, and that 50 is coming way down for it. So it might base out right here on that 200 and then catch up with the 50 and get cruising again. So that's what crypto looks like. Not terrible, not great, that's for sure. So we'll see what it looks like in the morning. It looks like it's more setup period for crypto right there. And I guess it's not the end of the world since it's 1 week away. We've made it this long with it bouncing around up and down. I guess another week or two when it gets moving after the administrations change hands wouldn't be so bad. So that's what it kind of looks like at the moment there. Let's take a look at our SPY and everything else. Let me see what you guys want to look at real quick. I see Adobe, Luis Rodriguez. Let's see. I bet it is probably coming close to bottoming out here. Let's see, ABDE. Is that it? ADBE. Yeah, did I just put that in? I guess not. ABDB. ADBE. There you go. ADBE, everybody. And I would say, Luis Rodriguez, I think you're on the money with that bottoming out. ADBE, I might want to keep an eye on for tomorrow. And it did take a major dip there, but I think it's looking pretty good. So keep an eye on that to try to set back up and get cruising again. We'll make sure that tomorrow. Keep an eye on that Ripple because the SEC has until January 15th to file their amended brief in the Ripple case. This deadline could shake things up. So stay tuned. I agree. And Ripple looks good. So I would keep an eye on it. Let me cruise through and see what the messages say right here. Here we go. Let me see. That was B hat, and you guys were talking BNRG. Which one was that one? Did we even look at that? BRN. Oh, that's at Bren Miller. Oh, wow. That one's run up big time up in the top right there. BNRG. We had looked at that way down here at like 68 cents, guys. So that Bren Miller finally got cruising there. BNRG. We were super early on that bad boy. And let's see what else. Talking about the restaurant business. That's funny. Mr. Bean, he was the best too. Everyone loved Mr. Bean, I have to assume. He was definitely a pretty funny dude. Let's see what else is going on here. EONR. Let's see this one. Kimmy's looking at this. EONR. Let's take a look at it. EONR. Oh, let me type it in. EONR is an EON Resources. And this one appears to be curling back up. I would say that might be a good one right there, Kimmy. EONR, it ran up the other day last week on the 8th on Wednesday. It ran from 83 to 305. And then on Friday, it went 103 to 109. It closed at 94. Today, 92 to 128. It's at 111. And I would say it looks like it wants to continue up right there. So keep an eye on that. Oil and gas, that sector has been hot. ExxonMobil and Oxy, they were up, I believe, today. And yeah, this one I think is looking pretty good right there, Kimmy. So there you go. EONR. We'll keep an eye on that bad boy right there. Let's see what else did we look at. HHH we looked at, and UPS. Let's look at that one real quick. What's UPS up to? At 125. And that's looking like it wants to curl up. You're right, Luis Rodriguez. UPS, we might have to keep an eye on. It does look like it wants to curl up. It gets back up over that 125.89. It's at 125.25, and it's going to look gorgeous. So I would say we'll keep an eye on UPS. And Barber likes the new system. There we go. Thank you. And the pre-market, we did talk about that. So I know that we got down here, and we were talking about Walmart changing their design, and I think we all would have done it for less than the 50 million. And I know it includes all the signage changing and all, but what the hell are you going to spend all that money for if it's barely going to change the logo? It's not even worth it. So B Hat would have happily accepted $50 million and kept the business alive. Anyway, CDT, let's look at that, Joe Murphy, and see what that's up to here. Conduit Pharmaceuticals had run up yesterday or Friday, whenever it was, and today. Yeah, it was definitely Friday. We weren't trading yesterday on a Sunday. It was football day, but it opened at 13, got down to 9, and closed at 10. It's sitting on the 50 in your 20s coming up for it. I think you're just kind of bouncing around, like kind of just stair stepping its way up, to be honest. So I think it might be pretty solid. We'll look at it tomorrow, CDT, and if that 20 wants to come up more on it onto that 50, I think you're going to be safe to say it's going to set up and get bouncing there. So BKKT, let's look at that tessering and see what that's up to real quick. BKKT. And then we'll check out some big caps and them bad boys. And our SPY BKKT is coming down, but hitting that hard support line right there around that 2250. It's at 2305. Let me take a better look at BKKT. Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, it looks like it wants to come through to 50 and pull back some more, but it could just base out right there at this 2305 area. It's at 2325. Just say it's there. It looks like it could either base out around here, try to bounce back up towards that 27 and stay in that channel. But it does have that pullback look, so we'll see if it can hold itself up there. It will get set up. It's just not ready yet. It doesn't look like, and that's BKKT right there. And let's go ahead and look at our big guys real quick and see what that SPY was up to and everybody else, because they weren't great. Somehow the SPY did closed up, but it was so far down that I guess I had to. It opened at 575.77. It got down to 575.35, and then it closed at 581. And it is just kind of stair stepping down. And again, I don't think that 570 is out of the picture. So we'll have to keep an eye on it and see if it's going to pull back some more tomorrow. I'm not convinced that it's not ready. There was some support there, like that, like I said, that 574. Where'd it come down to? 575. Yeah, there's some support right down at 574-ish. But again, I'm not so sure that it's not ready to come down some more. So we will keep an eye on it, and we'll look at it in the morning. But let's go ahead and look at our Mag 7. Apple, let's see what Apple did if I put in the right ticker. It did come down another $2. It does kind of have that bottom look right there. So it came through its hard support line, that trend line, the other support at 235. And it does kind of look like it wants to bottom out here. Again, tomorrow, could it pull back a little bit more? It could, but I think you're going to get Apple to try to set back up from this point. I could be crazy, but that's what it looks like. Amazon never came through that support line down there at 214. Does have that pullback look, could come down there, and but again, it doesn't look too bad. I think we're going to start to see them trying to get set back up and bouncing back up. Google, that was down 88 cents. That almost looks like it has that pullback look, came through to 20. I don't think it's coming down to the 50 because that's way down here at 183. So that maybe that one's just trying to base out there, good old Google, to try to get moving again at 193. Good old Meta, META. This one had pulled back like $7, but it's right on that support line. It didn't cross through the MACD line. It's touching it. And looks like it's super bullish. It could come through it, though, tomorrow. Let me see what it did in the after hours here. Yeah, it's just sitting right there. It came through it today, 610 to 614 down to 598. It's at 607. It looks like it wants to pull back to me. So Meta looks like it could pull back a little bit more. And again, Zuck has something going on. He's been having stuff go on, and it will set up super bullish like the rest of them. But they just started getting them last little pullbacks in. Microsoft down a little bit. Still looks like it came under that hard support line, trend line right there, and looks like it could pull back a little bit more, but definitely trying to get set back up. So that's Microsoft, MSFT, and Nvidia. This one was down 268, and I'm telling you, it looked like it wanted to pop off that line from Friday's close, and it obviously pulled back, but it looks like it wants to do something. So keep your eye on the video because it does have that look like it could get cruising. Not saying it has to, but I could see it pulling itself up tomorrow. It barely crossed itself through the MACD, pulling itself up today, being its bottom at that 129 and getting popping. So just keep your eye on the video tomorrow. If I had to say the Mag 7s, it might look probably the best. I didn't look at Tesla. I know that was up today, I believe, a little bit. TSLA, yeah, it was up. And again, it's still trying to make a base and curl up. So Tesla's just there bouncing around. It did run up. It's trying to get moving again. So we'll keep an eye on Tesla. And there you go for your and like I said, that Nvidia and Tesla are looking the best out of them too. So we'll keep an eye on them. Some of them are setting up there. They could be not bottoming, but hitting that final dip, that final drop down to get set back up. So we're keeping an eye on the Mag 7 as usual. AMC came down pretty good today. I was actually surprised to see it dip into the basement because it was looking pretty good, and it came into the basement. GameStop dipped down pretty hard today too. It hit a 20, and Chewy, what did it do? I saw it. It was down a little bit, but I'm telling you, Chewy looks the best. It kind of held itself right there, and Chewy looks like it wants to blast off. So keep your eye on that CHWY. It looks the best out of them three for sure. And Netflix, NFLX. Let's see. Dipping down. Oh, it was up 260. What'd it do? 831. It opened that and it came up to 847. It's at 842. I'm not so sure it really wants to bounce back up yet, so we'll have to keep an eye and see if Netflix is done dipping because I think it could pull back. That AVGO, this one pulling back, but kind of like held itself right under the 20. Another one almost has that look like it's ready to try to base out and curl back up. So we'll take a look at that in the morning and these semiconductors because they could get ready to move. MU was down like 428, pulling back to that 20, but it could pop off of that tomorrow. So again, we'll look at these guys in the morning. TSM, this one has earnings coming up. It was down $7, came down to that 201 to that support line, hitting the MACD. It could come down to that 190. So we'll have to see what's up. And like I said, they have earnings coming up January 16th. Whenever I think these things want to pop off of there, they always pull back. So maybe it's going to pull back and it's going to be a superb opportunity if it does, because I think they're like beating their earnings and everything else. And I don't understand. Every time they beat the earnings, the thing pulls back. So I just don't get it. But there you go. That's why I don't mess with earnings. But TSM did pull back, setting up. So we'll keep our eye on that. SMCI. This one was, I forget what it was doing today, down $1.52. That's right. It did pull back and curled back down. It was looking much better the other day, again, on that 6 on Monday last week, and then it just pulled back. We'll have to see if it's going to get set back up right there. It should. Just a matter of if it's this week or in the next few days. AMD looks like it's probably bottomed out down here and should try to curl back up. AMD hit that bottom line, and it should try to curl off that MACD and get cruising. It could take a week or two for it to really set up, but it should try to bounce back up some. So that is AMD, so keep your eye on that. And QCOM, Qualcomm, this one's trying to get set up, guys, so keep your eye on QCOM. I think this one's looking pretty decent and wants to get cruising, so I have to say that one looks good. AMD looks decent. INTC, Intel, this was getting set up as well. I think this one's going to be a good one. And we were looking at it and knew it was kind of setting up here. And yeah, I think INTC is going to be a solid one. They have earnings coming up as well on January 30th, but it's far enough away. I think Intel is trying to get set up there. And PayPal was down. Let me see. I don't remember what it was doing today now that I think about it. It was up. I don't even remember doing anything. But anyway, 82.19 to 84.12, and it closed at 83.99. It's at 84.15, it says. And this one could be pulling back some more, just kind of stair stepping its way down so it didn't crash all the way down. So that's PayPal. And again, setting up to be bullish, but they are all pulling back for sure. We saw it happen. Good old Snow was pulled back, but up in the after hours, we were looking at it yesterday. I was trying to tell today what it wanted to do, and I think we're going to get cruising here. 159 to 164. It's at 163 right now, and I think Snow is going to be a solid one. So I was watching that today. Dell, I think, is going to get set up. It took a major pullback, 460 today. So we're going to have to see when it pulls back down here. If it can get, it will get bouncing. Just a matter of when it wants to bounce off that line. But Dell did take a nice dip today, so we'll keep an eye on that right down to the MACD for the most part. So I'll watch that to see when it's ready. And PLTR was pulling back. But I'm telling you what, it's right under that 50, and this thing could try to get cruising back up, guys. So be careful with it. And Sophie, SOFI, the same situation. It looks like it's trying to cruise back up here. So be careful with this. It was down 8, up 8 in the after hours. Has earnings coming up, and I wouldn't mess with Sophie or PLTR. There's other ones that you can tell much better. Mara and Riot, they were down a little bit, but I think they're trying to get set up here. Mara was down like 67 cents. Riot was down 23, but not looking bad. Like I said, Riot's trying to get set up really nice. So keep your eye on that one. MicroStrategy was up 49 cents, setting up beautifully. I'm telling you, MSTR is going to get nutty, guys. So check out them options. They're not cheap, but they are going to be worth it. That's MicroStrategy because that one's going to get cruising. So keep your eye on that. CLSK, that's up 10 cents. That's going to start bouncing up there. So both of them look good. CLSK and MicroStrategy. Coinbase was down today, but I think it's trying to make that bottom down here. Let's see it pull back a little bit more, and it's going to be great. So many great opportunities about to come. DJT was up $7. Remember I told you this thing was looking like it wanted to set up. You couldn't tell. Boom, there you go. How about fun? Remember I told you it was going to get fun? That popped up as well. So both of them right on the money. I know when they have that crazy look, you can just tell. And DJT had it. You just couldn't. I was saying, why is it pulling back? And it has that crazy look right there. And then bam, right up to the top. See, tomorrow, if it gets into the top, it's going to run into like the $52 area probably. So keep an eye on this Trump media. See what he's up to. Obviously, he's about to take office in a week. That's what he's up to. How about Mountain, MTN? This one was up $1.60. I'm telling you, this thing is setting up, guys. So keep your eye on this thing. It is looking really good right there. MTN and McDonald's. This was actually up $1.32. Maybe that was its bottom today. I'm not exactly sure with McDonald's. And but it does look like it's trying to bottom out, and it's been looking like it's been trying to bottom out a few times. And Boeing, that one's basing out. Aerospace and defense, it was down $1.43. Nothing crazy. It could pull back though, so it looks like it wants to come down into the 160s. So keep an eye on Boeing, could possibly pull back on us. And space, SPCE was down into the 5s, and it does look like it's going to pull back some more. So I think Laptop Travel was right about that one. They're going to be needing some cash to maybe keep that thing to going. But yeah, it was trying to get set up there. It was in that channel, and then you can just see the last few days just pulled right back down on it. So that took a hit from the market as well, SPCE. And let's look at IBM since we did Rivian. And we'll keep them on. We'll keep Rivian on the Jolie's jams, and we'll look at IBM because that's a decent one. And that one's pulling back, but it's going to be setting up pretty bullish. Let it pull back right there for IBM. And Disney was down, and let that pull back as well because that'll be a good one. But Oxy was up, and we knew this one was going to run. And same with ExxonMobil was up pretty nice today, and we knew that was going to run. And Nike's getting set up, guys. Like I said, it was up 88 cents and looking pretty nice right there. So keep your eye on Nike and DXYZ. This one was way down. It's hitting that 50 down there, and finally a good opportunity. So keep your eye on it because it finally. Remember, I kept saying we want to get it way down here. Well, yeah, just had to be patient. So it finally came down into the 48s, and I was never comfortable with it, chasing in the 60s and 70s. And there you go. I was saying in the 50s, but it came to 48. It could pull back a little bit more there. So that patience pays a lot of times right there. And that's DXYZ. And it definitely did there. So yeah, for these ones, I would say Nvidia and Tesla for our Mag 7. I'll write it down. Which one was better? Well, Tesla's already moving. Nvidia's setting up. I'll say watch Nvidia for the bounce. Tesla for the momentum play right there on the list. I'll have to look. And our laptop travel ones, I'm not even going to try to pick one. There's so many good ones. I mean, there's a slew of them. So I marked which ones are set up. You can almost take any of them. Let me see. SGN, I might have to say, is a really nice setup happening. Not sure if it's going to be a popper tomorrow, but it's definitely setting up there. So we'll write SGN down right here. Let's see what else we liked. SGN. What else did I like here? There was a few that were looking pretty. Oh, that LAC was looking pretty good to try to run up tomorrow. That's setting up right there. I think that one could get curled. There was a few of them. Let me see. CNSP was looking good. That one looked like it wanted to try to curl back up tomorrow. Let me just take a look real quick and see. No, CNSP did run already. That's right. I had it. I was like, wait a second. Let me see. I'll go through and I'll check out which one looks best there. There wasn't a whole lot of setup. Like I said, I think Laptop Travels list took the cake tonight, to be honest with you. Just a lot better setups. RIG wasn't looking bad. So yeah, not a whole lot happening on our side. I'll write SGIN, RIG, and I would say Laptop Travels list took the cake, to be honest. So his list was looking good. I think we might just have a setup pullback day possibly tomorrow and nothing real crazy. Let me go through the scanners real quick and see what else is happening. I'll go through the messages. Oh, Ship. Yeah, Ship is looking pretty good to try to move. I would say SHIP. It was trying to run up there today. It's in that channel. That's looking good. Yeah, Coin took a nice beating right there, but it's going to be a good opportunity. Looks like it came up there in the after hours, COIN, but it did come down pretty good today, down to that 240 area. It's at 255. You catch that bounce. That's a nice $15 popper. And but yeah, it could pull back a little bit more right there. So we'll look at that. MS and BAT was moving in the aftermarket up 11%. That's pretty wild. Yeah, I can't disagree with Luis Rodriguez saying the SPY technical's not looking good, and I agree right there. I think they could come back down a little bit more, and I was saying that 570 number, so that's probably where it's going to come to. And I said it the other day before it even pulled back. And before it pulled back last week, we were saying that 570, and it was sticking itself on the support line, that trend line, but it finally broke it on Friday, and obviously came down a little bit more today. So there you go with that. Let me see the scanner real quick, see what's going on here, if anything. Oh yeah, GCTK. You know what? Add that to the list. That one looks pretty damn good too. I think that might be your best bet, to be honest. That GCTK. I didn't even think of. I did have it marked down. That STAF and TPET for your momentums. I wasn't even paying attention to the top of the list right there. Anyway, yeah, that one's a good one too. So GCTK, I think, could be a good one that moves tomorrow as well. So keep an eye on that. That PHIO ran today, and that B hat, it was down big time after the offering. screen. I'm telling you, the video looks like it wants to just bounce. And them RGTIs and computer hardwares and quantums are way down. SVMH came down. Rhyme came down, QBTS, and a ton of them were looking down. But I'll tell you what, that SPXS, which is the Bear S&P Bear 500, it did run up. The 50 and 20 did touch. It does look like it could run up a little bit more, but it's going to fizzle out right there. So that's a good sign. And like I said, it does look like it could run up a couple more days there. So obviously the SPY could pull back on it. That LAES is down. Lucid came down a little bit, crossed down, and some of these were just so topped out up there. Ford looks like it's trying to set up down here, so we'll keep an eye on Ford. And that plug was down, Fubu was down, VRME ran, that Verify Me. Remember, we were looking at that yesterday as well, and that was supposed to be a momentum play, and that did run up like $1.58. I forgot about that guy. Look at that tomorrow, that VRME. That could be a little momentum play right there for us. So it was today. It kept running up. We were looking at it yesterday. And like I said, Ford looks like it's trying to get cruising up there. So Ford's not looking too bad down here. So keep your eye on the letter F. That's Ford, because that looks like it's trying to get set up. So we'll look at that. Let me take a look and see if anything else is going on over here. Let's take a look. AFIX, that looks brand spanking new. What the heck is even going on here? What did I just do? Hold on, let me go out of this thing. I don't even know what I just did. All right, that is it. All these new ones coming in: APLU, AFIX, and AINP. I don't even know what the heck they are. But all bond markets, I bet. That's what they look like. ETFs, bond markets. Let's see. ATPC, that was at A-Gate, that moved today. And that XXII and TEMP is a climate solution ETF. Let's look at this. Temp. This one looks like it could get crazy. It's in the basement right here. It's some JP and Morgan thing. Probably wouldn't mess with it. It just looks a little crazy right there. So, yeah, nothing real crazy going on over here either. I have to say, I can't really see anything nutty. That GCTK might be like one of the best ones I see, to be honest with you, right there. So let me see what's trending over on StockTwits. Make sure you guys don't have anything. But yeah, it's just kind of one of them days where, it's just, runs around, goes up, and goes. The market runs up so much that they do pull back. LAES, is it ready to be played? I don't think so. Yeah, LAES, that Seals Q. Nah, that's coming down some more. I would look for it down in the twos, like in the 230s maybe. Hood, Robin Hood, I bet that is looking good, or setting up. It was down today. Yeah, Robin Hood looking great right here, guys. Let it pull back. If it pulls back into the 36 area, it's at 39. Watch for a little pullback there, Nostradamus, but that is looking really good to get set up. LAES, you definitely don't want to play that yet. And ship is looking good there. Let me see what's happening over here at StockTwits World. And let's see. DJT. Oh, the Viking. I meant to write that down. It was way down, that VKTX. I don't know what's going on over here with Viking Therapeutics, but it is hitting that bottom and not looking terrible. So keep an eye on that. It is way down. Meta says it's down right there. 82 cents in the after hours is what that says. TGTX, isn't that a TG Therapeutics? Sorry, I said that before. Thought it was an ETF, but that's down. IOVA, we looked, that's down. XXII is up. PHIO is still up. TDOC on mRNA, that was getting set up, that Moderna and Pfizer, and they came crashing down as well. They're probably going to be great opportunities. PFE as well. Pfizer, this one's hitting the line. Actually, Pfizer's looking pretty damn good right now. Keep an eye on PFE, guys, because Pfizer's looking good. Moderna, MDRA, or whatever it is, what I just say, mRNA, I'm sorry, mRNA, that came down big time today, so we'll watch it. But Pfizer's looking pretty good. They were both kind of set up not long ago, but that's how they look right now. And there you go. I would say I think we covered just about everything. Let me see if there's anything else. I think we got it all right there, and I think that's a good market review. And like I said, I'll be back at 7 a.m. I think that we may see a little more pullback the next day or so, but I think we're going to be kind of bottoming out here and getting ready to rock and roll it back up as we get closer to the administration changing. And why not Biden? They started their administration as a disaster with that terrible Afghanistan withdrawal. You might as well end it on a bloody red stock market because it's been a disaster all 4 years. You might as well make it a true disaster. And I posted a couple things that I wrote in 2022. No one was running a country and they couldn't run a hot dog stand. And I would say 2 years later, that held up pretty well, huh? So there you go. It's going to be nice to actually have somebody running the country again. And because nobody's been running it, I don't know who's been running it, to be honest with you. There's been Biden's been a puppet. There's been people pulling strings, but nobody fully in charge, and it's been a disaster. And you can tell, look at our economy. So hopefully it gets much better, and we can only hope for the best right there. mRNA cut their guidance, whatever that is, Luis Rodriguez said, so I'm not sure exactly. Let me see what it says here. mRNA. Today, it has so much news, but it just talks about whatever that means. I'm not sure, but they did cut their guidance. Maybe they pulled back on how much they're looking at. I'm not sure what that even means, but there you go. And we'll check it out. I'll ask Luis Rodriguez what happened. He'll tell us. He follows that stuff pretty close. And there you go. And like I said, there's our market review. And the game is in the fourth quarter. It's 27-9. The Rams are winning with 12:54 left, so you can go enjoy the fourth quarter. Maybe the Vikings will come back and make it a game. They have the ball right now. And there you go. Like I said, I'll be back at 7 a.m. We'll do our Jolie's jumpers. We'll do our laptop lowdowns. And we'll do our crypto, our SPY, and everything else. So let me know if you want to look at anything in the morning. You know I'll gladly go over it. So thanks for hanging out, everybody. Laptop Travel, the Pink Wolf, I'm going to say. Yeah, I was right. Pink Wolf. I always want to say Fox, but it's the Pink Wolf. Winner and Mutant, Profit Logic, MS, John Wong, Jay Kratz, and Luis Rodriguez, RD, Barbara, Elena, Jennifer, Lee, and Nostradamus, Bong, Prechan, Sherry, Sinai, Buddy, Scott, Tessering, Crystal, Alicia, so many others. Thanks for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. And have a great night, everybody. I'll see you guys at 7 a.m. Let me know what you guys want to look at, and I'll see you then. Have a good night.